It's Gorman in the Morning with Fletcher and Ryder. Now, 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the Morning on Minnesota's 92 KQRS with Fletcher.
Hey, it's time to make the donuts.
Ryder.
Oh, my goodness.
Something to announce tomorrow for people who like fun. I'm very excited.
Well, now I'm excited, too.
Yes, this time, be here.
Okay.
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning? Like first thing tomorrow morning?
First thing tomorrow morning.
Oh,
You're talking about fun, you said?
Yes. This is only for people who like fun.
You're torturing us.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Tomorrow, this is going to be the place to be right now. But for right now, today, Thursday, May the 22nd, it's time for some headlines because we're feeling Minnesota. Paul Fletcher, what have you got for us?
Good Lord, we have to compete with fun this morning. All right, so let's see what we can do. Minneapolis Park and Rec Board has announced their schedule for Free Movies in the Park, the series. Yes, it's I don't know how many years this has happened in a row, but more than 60 movies are offered at various parks around the city. Each start around dusk and are completely free. Pretty much all family-friendly stuff. Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire, Captain America, Brave New World, Fifth Element, Remember the Titans, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And then you have like Wicked, Minecraft, stuff like that.
Nice.
But like I said, 60 movies, totally free. And I don't have the entire list because there's over 60 and all the parks are various. But you can look it up. You can find it. Free movies all summer long.
It's a great thing.
I mean, Wicked's a pretty current one for them to get on at the parks this summer.
That really is true.
And Minecraft. Like it's,
and Minecraft.
And there are a bunch of others too. I mean, there's a ton of Disney movies and crap like that too if you're if you're into that with the kiddos and whatnot.
I went to Wicked with my daughter and I had an awesome nap in the theater, and I'd love to have an awesome nap under the stars watching it again.
I know, because they don't start these things till dusk. Yeah, and depending on it's like 9 o'clock sometimes.
I guarantee you, if I were in front of that movie and it started again, the Pavlovian impulse, I'd be right out. Boom. It'd be great.
Given our schedule, I'm not sure there's a movie they could play in the park at dusk in the summer that I'm going to be able to stay awake through or for.
That checks out.
U.S. News and World Report, of course, released their best places to live in the U.S. rankings annually with this year's list featuring 250 cities. Top places in America to live are Johns Creek, Georgia. Carmel?
Where the hell is Johns Creek, Georgia?
I've lived in Georgia for a long time. I've never heard of it.
Is it Carmel or Carmel, Indiana? Because it's not spelled like caramel.
Carmel,
Indiana, and Pearland or Pearland? Is it Pearland, Texas, right? I think it's Pearland. Let's go with that.
I don't know any of these places.
Well, those are the top three places. Maybe that's why they're the best places to live.
I know Carmel. I know Carmel, Indiana is a very Tony suburb of Indianapolis. I do know about that one because my kid went to IU, and anybody he ever met from there, he was like, what a douchebag.
But the fact that we don't know where any of these are maybe is why they're the best places to live.
I guess so.
Minnesota landed 10 cities in the top 250. Plymouth is number one in Minnesota, came in at 17th overall. Then you had Maple Grove, Eden Prairie, Woodbury, Rochester, Eagan, Mankato, Blaine, Bloomington, and Duluth, rounding out the top 10.
All right, a nice representation.
Man.
Yeah, it's kind of a cross-section
Get
of
after
Minnesota.
it, Plymouth. Right on.
There was this Dublin-born teenage kid named Paul Hewson. He transformed into a global music icon known as Bono, the frontman of U2. The origin of his stage name, Bono, traces back to his youth in a bohemian street gang. I'm a tiny bit bohemian, actually, in Dublin. And he's just now started talking about the origin of Bono. In this street gang, they had elaborate nicknames that were crafted, all right? His moniker started as, Ryder, please.
Steinheg van Wissenolig Bang Bang Bang.
I wasn't going to try to say that. One more time.
Steinheg van Wissenolig Bang Bang Bang.
And then it transformed into Bono Vox of O'Connell Street. And that was influenced by hearing a local hearing aid shop and a Latin phrase meaning good voice. He embraced the name simply as Bono at the age of 14, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Fair
I thought
enough.
that was interesting. Just, I mean, like, because I've never seen it. If he's talked about it before, I've never seen it.
Okay.
To the best of my knowledge, it's the first time he's ever talked about the origin or where Bono came from.
Where does the edge come from?
I've heard the Bono Vox thing for forever. I've never heard the whole long, the whole derivation.
Steinheg van Wissenolig Bang Bang Bang.
I think when you're in a band with a guy named Bono, you don't want to go around as Dave. Here's our guitar player, Dave. It just doesn't work. When you're at Red Rocks in the rain and you want to, call out your boy, you don't want to say, "Here's Dave."
Right.
So the edge made more sense.
Edge.
That's it.
It does sound. It's edgier.
Yeah.
A news anchor in one of my favorite places in America, Schenectady, New York, named Olivia Jaquith, went into labor just before her morning newscast yesterday. Went into labor and still anchored the show, of course. Her water broke at 4:15 a.m. She was still on the air about 90 minutes later. Here's Olivia and her co-host, Julia, talking about it a bit.
We do have some breaking news this morning. Literally.
Yes.
Olivia's water has broke.
That's
and
right.
she is anchoring the news now in active labor.
Early labor.
She's still here. She's been doing the entire show. This is her decision to do
Yes.
this.
I'd rather be at work than at the hospital.
After we're done with this show, you should probably go.
Oh, thank you
Oh,
guys.
yay, Olivia.
I'll do my best,
High
which
five, girl.
means
Whole
maybe
show.
you
Look at
won't
that.
see me
3 hours of news.
That's right.
In contractions. I think that's a first for CBS 6.
All right, well, hopefully I don't see you tomorrow, but make sure you join Julia.
Nice work on the tees. Very proud of her.
Man, no kidding.
They had up in the top right corner of the screen, they had a little banner that said how far past due because she was 2 days late.
Oh, okay.
So they had a counter going in the
Sure.
top right corner. Yeah, I can tell you guys this. If I have pains in my stomach that are anything like labor, sorry. I value the show. I'm committed. I'm not gonna be here. Just
Sounds
give
like
you a heads
somebody
up.
working on his first baby, and this Julia must be on her second because
third
women
or so,
start
yeah.
to get real chill after the first one about this whole I don't want to hang out in the hospital crap.
I was number 8 for Imelda Gorman, and she walked in 20 minutes before I showed up.
I bet.
True story. She walked in and said,
don't doubt
I'm
it.
having a baby. They're like, when? She goes,
Right now.
momentarily. And it was it was seriously like front doors to holding a son, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we don't quite compare to that, but it was sort of like my wife and I joke about our second that the second one just fell out because the first one took forever,
Yeah.
and the second one was you don't go in 20 minutes before anymore. We just don't do that. But it was probably 3 hours from when we walked into the baby being out.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
So I was born the day after the final episode of MASH aired. And yes, and I know, Steve's jaw dropped at how long.
I can remember that. I remember that very day.
And
Like,
my mom,
first
of
one-
course, does too. She
Yeah.
pushed off going to the hospital until after MASH was done.
Well,
Oh
yeah.
my God, that's great! I was the only person on earth who missed the MASH episode because
I
I was
missed
in.
it, too.
You didn't see it,
Yeah.
I know. I was in court prep. I was in trial the
Oh,
next day
damn.
as the
Okay.
witness to an attempted murder case. I remember it all very well.
I bet they let that jury watch the last MASH episode.
The day you were born was my day on the witness stand.
Yeah.
Trust me when I say, and my final high school basketball game that night. A very memorable day. I can't believe it's taken us this long to connect those dots.
That is insane.
Yeah, man.
I'm just happy to be here for it.
I mean, I know it was a big deal for you to be alive and all, but I made all district. Okay, so back off, Ryder.
Yeah. And
Jeez.
if you were a real MASH fan, you'd have been born before the last episode.
I've actually never seen an episode of MASH.
Yeah, it's.
I know. Sorry.
What?
Let's not
I've
get
only
into
seen a
that
couple
too
of
much.
episodes.
Really?
I mean, I was 10 when the last one came out. It wasn't exactly something that I was watching.
All right, I'm moving on.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't even know where to start with you.
Sorry, we're not as old as you.
I'm sorry you're not as cultured. Let's talk sports.
That's the right answer.
Last night in their home opener, the Minnesota Lynx beat Dallas for the second time in a week. A strong win. They were behind early, oddly enough, but came back. Nafisha Collier had a couple free throws in the last few seconds to ice the game. Paige Beckers, of course, in her first game back in her home state as a member of the Dallas Wings. 12 points. She's not lighting the league on fire yet, but nobody would have expected that because no rookies in the WNBA do.
Yeah.
See Caitlin Clark. It was a month or two before she got her feet
Right.
under her, and I imagine the same for Paige. But the Lynx are 3-0, so the more things
Nice
change,
job.
the more they stay the
Yeah.
same. And the other side of the NBA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is our main foe right now in the Western Conference Finals,
Yeah.
was named league MVP yesterday. So not only do they have a one-game lead on the Timberwolves, he has a home game tonight where he is the reigning MVP.
Oh, boy.
By the way, trust me when I say this is not his only MVP. He will be battling Jokic for he'll win a few more. He is unlike any player I've seen in a long time.
He's a creature.
He is absolutely incredible. The Twins split a doubleheader yesterday, still trying to make up for these rain delays. But, it was nice that it was 10 consecutive home game wins before they lost the second of 2 yesterday. So with that streak busted, it's time to just turn it around. That's the longest stretch in the Target Field 16-year history, 10 straight
really?
home wins.
Okay.
So what are they?
Pretty monumental.
14-1, 14-2, something like that in the last stretch. I mean, it's still pretty good.
It's a long, for the most part.
Yeah, let's just get a train going again.
They're playing some hellacious baseball right now. Would love to let everybody in Minneapolis know that we're happy to have you with us. Minneapolis, Minnesota, your city of the moment.
That's the big one right in the middle of everything, right?
That's exactly it.
You got it. Cherry and spoon and stuff.
Glad to have you with us, Minneapolis. I grew up in an era, which I'm not suggesting we go back to, but the house phone, when that was all you had, there was a serious protocol about how you answer that phone. In my childhood and even into my teen years, we would say, it started with, hello, Gormans. And then by the time I was in high school, it'd be like, Gormans, that was a thing. But everyone I knew did that. You had some sort of greeting. I'd call my friend's house, and they would at the very least say, hello, who are you calling for? There would always be something.
Yeah.
Every family had their own thing. And ours was, like I said originally, hello, Gormans. Now, fast forward all these years later, my son called me 2 days ago. And as happens every time, Connie's calling. And as I slide open my iPhone to take the call, and I either, in the time it takes to put the phone to my ear or put it on speaker, he's already talking.
Yes.
Wow.
I haven't said, hey, bud. I haven't said, what's up, dude? I haven't said, hey.
You haven't said, hello, Gormans.
I don't say that. But I'm saying I haven't even said, hey, my firstborn, I'm so happy you called. I don't get a word out, and he's already in mid-sentence.
He's got business to get to.
And I stopped him. This is 2 days ago. I stopped him. I said, seriously, dude, how many times do we have to talk about this? He goes, what is your deal? And I go, this is how it works. You're interrupting my day with a phone call. Right. Allow me to greet you. Yeah. Because now, what am I working for you? You're just like, I said, this sounds like you're the guy that opens the door to my cubicle and goes, do you have the Baxter report yet? I'm like, oh my God, let me say hello. And he refuses to budge on this. And that's just where we are with phone protocols in 2025, apparently. Ryder.
What happens when you call him?
He says something. He goes, hey. Hey. I'm like, it's not so hard, is it? He doesn't, put it this way, he doesn't pause and wait for me to start talking. He says something.
Okay.
It's just
drives me crazy.
Growing up, my best buddy, his dad was the best. He had the best cackle in the world. Rest in peace, Frank. Whenever he answered, it was different when everybody else answered. When he answered, yeah. Mm-hmm. That was it. That was just, yeah. Like,
right. Let's get to business.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, but see, that's something. And you didn't cut him off.
But no, I didn't cut him off.
That would have turned into what the hell's your problem?
Such a giggle. Such a giggle. Because it's just like, such an odd way to answer the phone. But it was always him. You just, you knew what you were getting into with Frank.
I had one friend who would answer the phone and he would say his name and he'd say, hello, Lawson residence, Brooke speaking.
Oh,
like they had the full. They had to give you
3 things.
They had to confirm that you're calling. They said we were greeted, with a smile, hello, and then you have called the Lawson. So you have to make sure you got the right house, and then which person is on the phone. Right. They give you all that information up top.
Did they answer like that even after business hours?
Oh yeah, all day. Oh, 247, man.
It sounds like you're calling a hotel there.
Oh my
but
God.
this was a different time, and I realize things are more relaxed now. But let me ask you this, okay? The thing that prompted all this in my mind, when you call, if you're calling a restaurant to say, do you have a table for 4 at 8 o'clock tonight? Let's just say you're trying to make a reservation.
Okay.
Or you're calling a hotel or anything. Mm-hmm. Do you call and say, would you by any chance say, they'd say, hello, Barney's Beanery, and do you say, hey, this is Paul, I'm wondering if you have a table for 4 tonight?
No.
Well, if I can't make an online reservation, we're absolutely done with that.
You are fully anti-phone.
We're talking about phone calls, and no, you don't lead with your name.
Okay, well, here's the question. So this is the latest thing. This is a TikTok that's gone viral because of one woman's bizarre thinking in the year 2025 that this is what must be done.
When I am calling a restaurant or anywhere, I say, hi, my name's Bronte. I'm just wondering if you have a table for 2 tonight.
No, if you're going to go to JB Hi-Fi and you'll see if they have like a camera in stock, you're saying, hi, my name is Bronte. Do you have a camera in stock?
Yeah. It's just common courtesy.
It's nice. You're very polite, but I think no one else does it.
But is this weird or is it common courtesy?
It is weird. Nobody who's answering the phone at the business cares what your name is. They just want to help you and move on with their day. That's very true.
See, I agree with that. Now, in person, it's a different thing. Like, hey, like if you just want to, if your basic assumption is you and I are going to speak for a few moments over this counter, so I'll just give you my name, and then it's it's a friendly thing. But on the phone, yeah. So as much as I'm up for some phone protocols, that's beyond the pale to me. I would never call somebody going to go. In fact, when I'm calling someplace for any reason, if they say, oh, like it's usually customer service. Okay, and who do I have the pleasure of speaking to? I'm always like, you don't care. Ask me for my account number, but my name doesn't matter. I just have a immediate. I hate the customer service experience anyway.
In that video, she says, "Is it weird or is it polite?" Mm-hmm. It's both, actually. It is polite. True. It sounds nice, sure. But it's really, really bizarre. There's absolutely no reason whatsoever to lay out your name at the beginning.
Ryder, how many minutes a week are you on a phone?
On average?
Speaking on the phone, average number of minutes per week. Business and personal.
Only personal. Mr. Ryder thinks that he needs to call me when he's coming home from work, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Just get home and then tell me all the things that you need to say. But he likes to talk in the car, so it's going to vary depending on how traffic on 394 is.
Wow.
I would say, and I try to keep those to like 5.
That's fun.
Minus him, 0 minutes. With him, maybe half an hour.
Wow. That's interesting because I'm also. I'm not one to have a conversation with someone who's on their way to see me. I'll be like, "Wait, you're coming? Well, just talk when you get here."
Yes, let's do the FaceTime. Let's interact like real humans.
I'm happy to be on the phone. I have done this for years, and I know I'm hardly alone. When I'm speaking on a phone, I pace around.
So do I.
That's whether if I'm around other people. I like to be in a room by myself, but I walk around and talk. Sitting in a chair. On a phone call for me, it lasts maybe 5 minutes. I just either have to hang up or I have to just start
pacing.
Get up and
start pacing, yeah.
That's just what that is. But yeah, it's true. My phone calls, the people I speak to on the phone are my wife, who I see every day, all day after I'm not here, and we'll still speak sometimes, or the kids. If they call for something, I always take those calls. Anybody else calling, it's like, man, I go out of my way not to look at my phone too much. I really, because, we've all been addicted to phones, and I'm really on a bender right now where I'm like, just put that thing down and forget it exists.
It's so funny. Ryder's the one, we're getting on her about using the phone, and I actually I think I probably use the phone for talking less a week than you do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would be at 0 minutes if that wasn't going to cause a divorce. I do want to say from the talk and text line from the 651, my friend's dad would always answer the phone, speak. If I'm waiting for a call from a stranger, but I know I'm going to get it from some kind of business, I will answer the phone and say, go for Ryder.
Oh, that's good. I like that one.
I love this text from Tubby, our friend Tubby. I answer all casual calls with yellow in a Chris Farley voice.
Thanks, Tubby.
That's actually the right way to do it. That's the correct way to do it.
That makes perfect sense.
Tubby's playing life right.
From a discussion about phone protocol to boyfriend-girlfriend protocol. When my first girlfriend in high school, my mom just one day looked at me and said, so I guess you and Connie are an item now. And I was like, well, yes, we are. She said, well, now, honey, if you introduce her to someone, you don't say my girlfriend. You just say, this is my friend.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And I was like, okay, why? She goes,
hold on. You were in high school? So
yes.
How old were you?
Like 16.
So this is definitely the appropriate time to be having a girlfriend.
Right.
Yes. Oh,
in my opinion.
Yeah, and she said, but the thing was, you didn't say this is my girlfriend or my boyfriend. You said this is my friend. She said if you introduce her to someone, you say this is my friend Connie, and people can assume that. But to say girlfriend, she said that's like putting a label on somebody that's unnecessary. It's like you're putting her in a box. And I was looking at my mom like, what are you talking about? Everybody I know says this is my girlfriend, this is my boyfriend.
Yeah,
but that was some old school thing, I guess, that she had been raised with in the 30s that she was still shoving down my throat.
Yeah,
why should she even assume that you guys are friends? It could just be, this is Connie.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Let's not, it's a little late to litigate it now, but I'm just saying. But I remember hearing that very clearly. What never occurred to me was what's going on now. The new shtick, the new prank that people are filming themselves on videos with their current girlfriend or boyfriend just to get a reaction. But this is right up my alley. I dig this.
Today, I'm going to be asking my current boyfriend.
What the her husband.
Okay, me and my current boyfriend, Michael.
What? Your current boyfriend?
You're my current boyfriend.
But why would you say that? I'm your boyfriend.
My current boyfriend and I have been...
My current boyfriend and I? As if there's a next. No, continue.
Me and my current boyfriend.
Yeah, it's a weird way to say it.
What would you call yourself?
Your boyfriend.
That's great.
This is women doing this to their husbands or long-term
Or
boyfriends.
long-term relationships. Yes, my
Yeah.
current. Because there's always the old shtick of meet my future ex-wife. This is better. You're just like I like my current boyfriend. That's good. My current girlfriend.
Yeah.
Let's see this go the other way and see how it flies.
Sure.
Yeah, imagine that TikTok trend, huh? Hey, this is my current girlfriend. What are you talking like that? You'd be
Yeah. No,
Mr.
that's good
Ryder
stuff.
thinks it'd be funny to introduce me as his former girlfriend when we're at social functions. This
okay.
is my
Married
former,
now.
which
Right.
is because technically I'm his
Yeah.
wife. Which sometimes he still does introduce me as his girlfriend. I'm like, man, it's been like almost 4 years, dude.
Dude.
The first time I introduced him very early when we were dating was maybe like 3 or 4 months was to our buddy Chris Nelson. We were out at the
Okay.
fair and I introduced him as my makeout buddy.
Oh,
And
nice.
And Chris thought this is hilarious and still thinks it's hilarious. Mr. Ryder did not like it so much.
Not so much.
didn't like makeout, buddy?
No, I thought it was funny and cute. I introduced him to Chris. We met some other friends of mine that I've known basically since grade school. And I did the same thing. They all laughed. He was like, yo, knock it off.
Is he modest?
Really?
Is he modest?
No, he's not at all. You've met him.
I know I have.
He's loud and brash.
There's a lot of
But it's
things
like
worse.
makeout buddy, though.
A lot of things worse than makeout buddy, though. You could designate somebody as.
Calling somebody your makeout buddy shows there's still fire.
Yeah,
See?
I thought so.
See?
Mr. Ryder, come on.
Yeah. I do have, and you've seen this exact thing happen in skits or movies or whatever, but a college buddy of mine did. I was not in the room, but the story was pretty legendary where he said, hey, so she's not my girlfriend anymore. And everybody went, thank God, and the high fives and the whole thing for real.
Wow.
And he said, we're getting married. And everybody was like, yeah, we're kidding. And it was that was a very real thing that happened because everyone talked about it from the moment it happened up until the wedding when we were all there. Yeah, that was good stuff.
Talk about stepping in poop.
Yeah, there's just certain things you need to know about life, which is you got to lead with the headline. You just come right in with, hey, we're engaged. You don't set it up. If you don't want to know what people really think, never give them the chance to bring it in.
Completely a fact.
Man, that's a rough one.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Thank you very much. Very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much.
Gorman in the morning, Minnesota's 92 KQRS. It is time for Rank You Very Much, and thank you very much for coming in to join us. Maggie Faris, what's up, Maggie?
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me. Gorman in the morning.
Extreme Maggie.
That's me.
Not too many people realized until right now Maggie's the voice of Gorman in the morning.
Gorman and the Mormons. Wait,
it.
that's not right.
No, that's not. It's close.
Gorman in the morning.
The Mormon, this is the Gorman Table Napkin Choir, is what we call it.
Am I the Mormon then?
Are you?
Could be.
No, but
Maybe move the show to Salt Lake City. Who
Do
knows?
you have holes in your sheets? Listen, let's move on.
Here we go.
So, Rank You Very Much, Maggie, is a little something we like to play once a week around here. We take a topic, we all give our top three. We go in reverse order, 3, 2, 1, and then we learn a lot about each other.
Okay.
And usually it's really confusing, like really bewildering.
Really?
We learn things about each other we wish we didn't know. That's usually what happens.
That's kind of nice, though.
It is nice. Yeah, you got to dig in. You got to have a context with which to realize, how did I end up with these people in a room?
Yeah.
They're so wrong. Everybody's right. When everybody's right, everybody's wrong.
What are the chances we all have the same answers?
We'll find out momentarily.
So this came out of a podcast that I did with, Eric Perkins from formerly Care 11. He and I created this Perk It Play. It went 58 episodes twice. We did 3 topics per episode. 2 times ever did we have the same number one, let alone all of the same.
Sure.
So that's never happened.
It's not going to happen.
We've crossed up here already a few times.
We've already crossed streams a lot.
Yeah, we have.
Never cross streams.
But this we should have learned that lesson over 40 years ago.
Right.
This one's going to be tough. And I'll just say right off the bat, this topic was immediately so like, oh my God, I refused to overthink it. It was the first 3. I just went with what do I love? What comes to mind first? Like really, what's meant the most? Blah blah blah. And I just put them down. And then I made the mistake of then researching and realizing there's no wrong answers except for all the ones that you guys are about to give. But there's so many great ones. So anyway, without further ado, the conversation today, the topic is top 3 HBO shows.
Almost impossible.
And do yourself, torture yourself, Google it, and remind yourself of how many there have been that you forgot that you loved. It's like, that's why I said, thankfully, I put mine down before I Googled because, oh, Lord, have they just hit the ball out of the park.
Well, that and it's taken so seriously. HBO series are very, there are definite wrong answers, and mine are probably going to be some of the wrong answers. I really don't care.
651-989-ROCK. Please feel free to weigh in with your choices as well. We need your top 3 HBO shows of all time.
You're squirming?
Yes, because there are things that I wanted to put on my list
it's
badly
so
that are not on there. Maggie, you and I discussed this, and you were real fired up about it, or at least you were at the time, and I hope you still are.
I have way more runner-ups than top 3s. You know, it's so hard to choose.
Yeah, it is. But but that is said, we're here to do the hard jobs in life.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. We're not messing around.
As our special guest, being the gentlemen and ladies that we are, Maggie, please go first. Your number 3, I should say, third-ranked top HBO show of all time.
My third favorite show, because I watched it religiously and I loved it so much, is Last Week Tonight with John Oliver.
Okay.
The bits, I was going to do that.
Boom!
The bits alone are amazing.
Yeah. So funny. So funny.
Yeah, you know,
so well written.
As much as I would love to throw darts, I don't have any. Now, that's not on my list, but and it's funny because
you're not going to attack that?
No, I can't.
I
love that show.
Okay.
I can't even fake like there's a problem with that vote. I will say this: it didn't even occur to me because I immediately thought of dramas, of series. Yeah, but it's perfectly appropriate and a wonderful choice.
Thank you.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. It's not it's not one that would be a first thought because it's not a series. It's not an acted show, even though there's acting definitely going on. Mm-hmm. But it's so brilliant that it's really hard to.
Mic drop. I win. Bye.
Okay,
that's your number 3. You're like,
thanks, Max. Thanks for coming by.
You're welcome.
My hang-up on that one is I definitely haven't seen every episode, and I felt like part of the criteria was, I need to see every episode if it is going to make my top 3, which is why I left off Hard Knocks.
Do you know what, though? Okay. I haven't seen every episode of my number 1.
That's okay. You know what? You're the guest. We're going to give you a wide berth here.
I love it.
Here's the other thing. It's your list. Like, there's no argument. Like, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Okay.
It's your list.
Ryder, number 3.
I'm embarrassed to say it because nobody is going to know what this show is. But in the early aughts, there was, and if you know it, it'll make sense that it's coming out of my mouth. There was a show called Carnival, and it was about a traveling circus during the Dust Bowl, and there were lots of good and evil themes, Alpha and Omega, all that kind of. Does anybody even know this freaking show?
Yeah. Was it the show that was? No. Okay, I'm confusing it. I do remember that existing.
Like Clea Duvall was in it.
I didn't see, but I never saw it. No.
And they chopped it up after they just did 2 seasons because it got to be insanely expensive.
Okay.
But I love it so much it has to be on my list. But I'm embarrassed to say it out loud.
I remember
given all the good shows.
You should
on HBO.
be.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like looking at the clock already. Man, my God.
I remember the show popping up, and the only reason I remembered is because I immediately looked the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just moved on.
Well, I'm glad that somebody, namely Ryder, remembers the Great Carnival from
4
HBO.
million people watched the first season.
Okay. All right.
That's not very many.
In the grand scheme of things, no.
There's 87 gajillion people in the world.
There really are.
That's a lot.
And most of them have TVs.
Is it even available to stream? Do they have it up on the HBO Max app? I'd be curious to see.
I think they do, and I saw season 2 on DVD at Half Price Books last time I was there.
Okay, all right.
They actually, you know what? I Googled it. They just deleted it because they ran out of server space.
Oh.
They need that room for good shows.
I get it. Hey, man, we all have them. I still listen to Let's Active. You know what I mean? They're not all winners. All right, Fletcher, number 3.
You know what? This is maybe the hardest one I've ever done. My number 3 is a lot of lists. Number 1, most lists say because it was a revolutionary show at the time, and it continues to be kind of I think even taught in classrooms.
Right.
The Wire is my third, but I didn't watch it as relentlessly and repetitively as I did my top two, and so it comes in at number 3 for me.
Taught in classroom.
Yeah, I guess it's like taught in like college rooms, like maybe for writing and whatnot.
As well it should be.
It's a critically acclaimed series.
Yeah, it is. A lot of lists, again, listed as number 1, the greatest show in the history of HBO.
It kind of dropped off a cliff at the end there for me.
The Wire debuted the week we had our second child. Missed it entirely. I was not in the market for a new show.
Oh, see, I would have thought that'd be the perfect time.
So it was years, but no, there was a World Cup. That was perfect time for that.
Oh, well, there's that.
It was in Asia. The game started at midnight. I was the greatest dad ever. I'll take the baby overnight. But it was years before I caught up to The Wire. And no argument there.
No.
I might talk about it later. We'll just have to see.
Fair enough.
Let's move on to number 2s.
What
was yours?
Number 3.
Oh, I forgot. My number 3. Well, listen to me. I'm forgetting. No, number 3. And I don't think this is recency bias because it just aired in the last few years, but I've watched the entire series 3 times. Station 11.
I've never even heard of this.
Never even heard of it.
No.
It was on Max. I don't think it ever even aired on HBO. It was just on the app, on the Max app.
How is this making
Well, it's HBO. It's the same company. It's HBO production.
I heard they're switching back to HBO.
In fact, now that I say it, that's wrong. It did air on HBO once. They didn't replay it. It went right to Max.
Say what it's called again.
Station 11.
Station.
Let's lay one thing out here really quick. HBO Max, whatever, whether it's TV or an app, whatever, it's all the same.
You can say hacks.
It's all the production company. It's
Station 11. It was a tough watch when it first hit. It was a tough watch when it first hit because it is about a post-pandemic situation. And in fact, the filming of the show, it is just one season. There's not going to be a second. It's a 10-episode story. It was interrupted. The actual COVID pandemic hit as they were filming, so they had to take a long break. It's not like COVID. This is the kind of pandemic that knocks out like 99% of the people. But what remains? Well, art, the connective tissue, and the only glimpses of humanity, theater, music. It's beautiful and heartbreaking. I will say this. I watched all 10 episodes. I cried during all 10 episodes every single time I've ever watched it.
I'd watch that.
It's beautiful. It's heartbreaking, but beautiful and uplifting as much as I'm making it sound like a horror show.
I'd watch that.
That's it.
It evokes the human spirit.
Absolutely, 100,000%.
I love that.
It's gorgeous. Okay, now, sorry, I almost forgot my own number 3. Now let's move on to number 2s. Maggie, what do you got?
6 Feet Under.
Okay, fun fact. Never seen 1 minute of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Great series.
That's why
it's just good.
So many people I know have told me that for years.
Yeah.
And I've even been told there's like 20 years later, 25 years later, it's still just as good. Like
it
people
holds
like,
up.
oh, no, don't worry about it. You're not going to go, oh, I can see why this was still great.
It's great.
Ryder?
I watched it after I watched Dexter and couldn't get into it.
Well, that would be weird because you think of him as Dexter, and he's not Dexter-like at all in 6 Feet Under.
Oh, okay. Same
whatever
actor
that guy is.
Yeah, that guy.
I never watched it just because dead stuff. Just never got me. So
I was fascinated with it.
I can't even chirp you for it.
You didn't watch it because of dead stuff. And for
what
those playing along
it looks like I win again.
Dexter is Michael C. Hall.
Michael C. Hall,
There it
yes.
is.
Yes,
a great actor.
Yep.
Fair enough. All right. Well. Again, you're walking out of here clean so far.
No, I think your number 3 is stronger than your number 2, Maggie.
Wow.
Champion, my friend.
Ryder, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Veep.
Oh, that was my runner-up. I love that show.
Oh, so
Really?
good.
Ryder, you have redeemed yourself.
Yes.
Amazing. This is the best show ever.
It is a great show. Now, I have not seen anywhere near every episode. It was never one that I made sure to see, but I've never seen one that I didn't sit down and then watch and think, God, that was great.
Oh, you got to stick to it. It's like it's like 7 seasons.
I know.
It's not undoable.
No.
First of all, it's really funny, and then I really think it's got to be exactly what's happening in Washington, kind of like a behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like you don't get to hear that stuff ever.
Right. You have House of Cards over on Netflix, and then you have like the comedic angle of Veep. That I think those two are
funny.
I think those give us so much insight. And Julia Louis-Dreyfus is phenomenal.
Amazing.
But still not worthy of a number 2. Not with all the shows that they had to offer.
Maybe it is a number 2.
All right. Well, then
it is a number 2.
Well, then your number 2 is what, Fletcher?
You know what? I'm probably going to get roasted. You could probably call this the Nickelback of HBO shows, but I'm okay with that. I think it's misunderstood. I think it's smart. I think it doesn't, aspects of it don't
bore
hold
us.
up.
Get to the chorus.
Ooh, roasted.
I'm already trying to set it up.
Okay.
Go for
Entourage.
Okay.
Man. I wish I could do that cricket noise. Yeah.
You know what? And it's fine. And I even recognize it. Like there's that, and there are elements of it. There's language in it that just does not work anymore.
Okay.
But I still think it had a lot more heart and was a bit misunderstood. And I think it also gave us a real picture of what Hollywood looks like, for better or worse.
Mm-hmm.
So
I missed where the heart part was in Entourage.
go back and watch it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the description that it's the Nickelback of.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of is.
Yeah.
And I like Nickelback too. So
A lot of people do.
Yeah.
Apparently so. They all go see him.
What are you going to do?
Time and time again. Entourage, a show I have seen exactly once.
One time?
And I thought I would not want to spend 5 minutes with any of these people in real life. It's like the Wolf of Wall Street. I just kept waiting for all of them to die. That's just me.
Come on.
I was just like, why can't a bomb hit this place?
Johnny Drama is fantastic. He's such a buffoon.
Yeah, I got enough. I got enough buffoons. I don't need to in real life. I don't need to hang out with them on TV.
Well, surround yourself with better people, and then you can watch a show like this.
I'm trying.
I'd have a beer with Turtle, but that's about it.
Fair.
All right.
I'd have a beer with Johnny.
I'd have a beer with anyone.
That's true.
Yeah.
Good call.
I love beer.
Opportunity.
She doesn't love people. She just loves beer.
Well, you might get a good story out of somebody.
If I'm having beer with people, it's not because of the people.
Yeah, you know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my number 2, I'll just get right to it. The Larry Sanders Show.
Oh, good. Classic. Yeah.
That was my absolute 90s. I will not miss this no matter what show.
Okay.
I got on it early. I call it the Velvet Underground of TV.
Wow.
By which I mean not everybody saw it, but everyone who did then created their own TV show.
Right.
It was like it inspired more writers, like Judd Apatow very famously. That's where he got his start.
Yep.
He's based everything in his career on what would Jerry Shandling think of this, essentially.
Yeah. Yep.
He gives all credit to that. Every writer on that show went on to do their own things. But the idea of, like you said, about you want to get a behind-the-scenes look at Hollywood, this was that for those kind of shows. So influential at the time. And then the first show to have that I remember where celebrities would come out as themselves and actually show horrible sides of they weren't necessarily, they were playing themselves, but a terrible version of, or a comedic version, or this and that. The whole idea that David Duchovny was in love with Larry, Henry Winkler was a gossipy bitch. I mean, it just, there were so many moments where at the time you hadn't seen that before and you just couldn't believe it. And through it all, Gary Shandling, my estimation, an absolute genius. So there's my number 2.
Is he still around?
He is not.
Oh.
No, he's 5-6 years probably gone.
Yeah, he's 6 feet under.
And in fact, Judd Apatow, a very nice button, has a 2-part HBO documentary about Gary Shandling.
Oh, nice.
That just aired like last year. It was fantastic. Really touching.
Likeable dude. We
are 2/3 of the way through a banger game of Rank You Very Much. The subject today, top HBO shows ever.
I'm winning so far. It feels good.
I'm sure you feel that way. That's great. No. I mean, I'd love to say we all agree with you, but there's just not a chance in hell.
I told you I had a lot of anxiety about
but she came back with
told you that Entourage is the Nickelback of HBO. It's still great.
Okay.
Maggie Faris is in the studio with us, and Maggie, it is time for our number 1s. What do you got?
This is my favorite show of all time. Of any show, I would watch it over and over and over and over again if I had to. I still haven't watched the last couple episodes because I don't want it to be over. And I know it just sits there waiting for me.
Times.
I know, but I can't fathom it being over. It is Danny McBride, The Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow. Sure.
The best series ever. It's so funny.
Yeah.
The characters are so hateable and lovable. Mm-hmm. And the lines they come up with are ridiculous. I mean, and it's so flamboyant. You know, they're all like evangelical,
over
mega preacher, pastor. It's so funny.
I've only watched the first season.
Okay.
and I haven't gone back to it yet, and I will eventually. But
it gets better and better and better too.
Good to know.
Yes,
good to know. But the first season with the in the parking lot with the van,
it's insane. Like that almost turned me off because it was so gory and crazy.
Yeah, but it was short-lived, and it wasn't really what the show is.
We're waiting for this final season. We haven't started it yet. But we're gonna knock it all out. For my money, Judy gets all the best lines.
100%.
What a phenomenal.
She's so quick and so funny and disgusting, and I love it.
In a show filled with amazing performances and great lines, she somehow, to me,
so good.
We could even argue maybe that Danny McBride is underrated. Like, that dude is really, really good. But
I would watch anything he's in, pretty much.
But my question is the show done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Okay,
the final episode was a couple weeks ago.
Because I was going to say, be careful with that not wanting it to end. I did that with The Bear.
Yeah.
And now I'm like a season and a half behind because I never got back to it. Because I didn't want it to end.
Yeah.
And so I watched it. It took me forever to watch the last episode of the first season, and now I'm like into the second episode of the second season.
Okay.
And we're waiting on number 4 is coming here very soon. So
I think I only have 2 episodes left. Also, another shout out to an HBO show with Danny McBride is Eastbound and Down. Yeah, great show as well.
It's brilliant.
Fantastic.
Kenny Powers, come on.
So
pretty untouchable there. We got to move it. We got to move it. Ryder,
go.
Number 1. Let's go.
It's Deadwood.
Wow.
That's the answer.
Wow. Didn't see that coming.
Wow.
I mean, sex, drugs, and no rock and roll is usually not where I go. But, dude, I moved to South Dakota, and everybody was raving about Deadwood. And I'm like, do you guys just like this because you're from South Dakota? And they were like, no, watch it. And, of course, I loved it.
It's incredible.
Swearingen. Yeah, Seth
I'll give you that.
No.
I'm embarrassed. I didn't even cross my mind, and I loved that show entirely.
Yeah.
It's one of the great you got to be kidding me's when they just pulled the plug on it the way they did.
Oh, yeah. You know, me and a bunch of friends of mine went to Deadwood. I did a big scavenger hunt based on the show and all because I'm a radio nerd like that.
Yeah.
But that is the answer. I can't believe that nobody else has said Deadwood anywhere on their list yet. Epic show.
Wow.
Home stretch, Ryder. You really redeemed yourself after that first one.
All right, good.
All right, Fletcher, let's go. Number 1.
I'm not going to bury the lead so I don't get yelled at again. Mike Judge created Silicon Valley. It's about a bunch of Silicon Valley bros who are hardly bros. Mm-hmm. It's constantly absurd, but also capable of being like emotional and even poignant at times. It never takes itself too seriously. It's one of the smartest, most well-cast shows. And the thing is it got better and better as the seasons went on, which doesn't, a lot of times, you kind of deteriorate a little bit, but this one got better and better. Even the Rotten Tomato scores went up, which is nuts.
That's Mike Judge?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Never seen it.
It's absolutely brilliant. 6 seasons, I think. And it was great to the very end.
We just got on Industry recently, which is really good. Similar vibe. It's compared to Silicon Valley often,
it is,
and Succession, both those worlds.
Oh,
all right,
Silicon
number
Valley
1
is very far from those two.
Number 1, we got to get to it. I am jumping on your number 3 bandwagon, The Wire. Absolutely. If it's the greatest TV show ever, then that means it's the greatest HBO show ever. And in my opinion, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like it fell off a cliff at all. People in the media hated season 5.
I didn't need 4 and 5.
You didn't need 4? It's the greatest season in television history. Too heartbreaking for you?
Maybe.
Oh my God! The whole episode. That's the school season. Man, those boys break your heart in every way imaginable.
She doesn't want to feel emotion the way you do.
Nordic.
Yeah.
It's that whole thing, man. Straight off the boat from Oslo. Look at her.
You can always go see reruns of Carnival on YouTube, I bet.
Man. All I know is the Wire does. There's over 100 people that are like the main character, and you know all of them, and they fold in new people every season, and you're like, I can't keep. And 2 episodes in, you're like, I know this guy's whole life story. It's just a marvel to me.
There's a young Michael B. Jordan in that too, right?
Very much so. Wallace, where's Wallace?
Yeah.
Wallace doesn't have a happy ending. I'll just go ahead. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Who in that show does? 0 people have.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's the life of drugs, Ryder. That's the life of drugs.
That's how that goes.
Stay away from drugs.
There's our rank you very much for the day, Maggie. Why don't you hang around a bit? We've got more work for you to do.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning on Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Fletcher Ryder, and right now Maggie Faris in studio with us. Yet again, Maggie.
Gorman in the morning.
There it is.
Okay,
there
sorry.
it is. Extreme Maggie.
That's me.
On the socials, which I'm a fan. I was always a fan of that. Extreme Maggie.
Yeah, that's me. Let's do it.
Cut to the chase.
Yeah. Although I just got permanently banned off of TikTok, so don't follow me there.
Is that true?
Yes, and I tried to get a multiple community guideline violations, but they won't tell me what they were.
My 12-year-old has had this happen 3 times. They don't tell you what the multiple guidelines that you've broken are.
Right.
It's amazing how they can operate.
I didn't know TikTok had guidelines.
I think they have a couple.
I thought they were just here to take all of our information.
That's true too.
Yeah.
There is a line.
They're dangerous.
Was it a possible complication from the estate of Evel Knievel?
It could be. It could be. I was wearing a Evel Knievel outfit.
Yeah. It's a strong look. Hey,
it's a choice.
For Americans of a certain generation, take one look at anyone in the Evel Knievel outfit. It's just like the warmth that comes over.
The nostalgia, right?
Yeah, it's
yes. So, and they have those little Evel Knievels that you pull the string and then they jump over stuff, and those guys never fall over. And as a toy, it's a little toy,
Oh, I remember.
But they bring them back now, and I just love watching even videos of them. They'll just make silly jumps, and it's so fun.
Yeah, there are people who just still continue to jump their Evel Knievel over like Matchbox cars, and they post them on videos. And
I could watch that all day.
Me too. I'll go right down that rabbit hole.
Those TikTok accounts didn't get banned, I bet.
Probably not.
Well, you know what? If you're going to be Extreme Maggie, you've got to dress the part. And so the Evel Knievel costume makes total sense.
You got to do extreme things. I billed it as the most epic comedy entrance ever. But it will never be released. If you want to watch the whole thing in its entirety, you need to join my Patreon.
Okay.
Nice plug.
Thank you.
Get to the Patreon. So, another bit of extremity, if you will, extreme activity in the life and times of Maggie Faris. Now, I want to talk about. We are going to discuss Loons on the Lake Comedy Festival momentarily, but first. Last time you were here, you were talking a big game about some dog walking.
I know. I haven't got to it. I'm too busy. Yes, I was going to walk the most dogs for Guinness.
She was going to set a Guinness record for most dogs walked.
By a single individual. Yes. But also someone broke that record within the time. But
did they?
I was going to attempt 50.
Yeah.
And this person, I think, hit 35. So I still think 50 is doable. But the record before was 24.
Yeah, no, it's nothing.
What's the time period?
There is no time period. Oh, yeah.
Oh, just at one time. Oh,
yeah, I think you have to go 3/4 of a mile or something like that.
All right.
And not lose any of them.
She can do it.
Just
do 36.
Yeah. No.
No? You're
Let's
blow
go
the
for
record
50.
Okay.
Yes.
No, you want to
hold on to that record for a minute.
Yeah, you want a lot of distance between number 1 and number 2.
Yeah.
Get a special belt.
There's someone out there who's thinking of doing the same thing, and you want to give that person pause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you
make them think.
Get a special belt. Then you attach 30 of the dogs to the belt, put 10 in each hand. You're golden.
I think you could do it. I think it's doable. Wouldn't it be cool to have a Guinness World Record though for something?
Yeah, absolutely.
For anything.
Yeah, anything.
Great.
I would love to have that on my wall.
Maggie, do you know if you get to pick what breed of dogs you're walking, or is it just a random grab bag?
Tiny, well-behaved dogs is what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Smallish, poodle-sized, well-behaved, calm dogs.
Yeah.
Man.
But see, what a feat in and of itself just to organize this, to find those dogs, to get everyone there on the same day. You know what I mean?
That's what
I have
I'm
a day job. I'm too busy.
Yeah, that's a lot of logistics.
It's going to happen.
That's an entire Saturday, pretty much, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just to organize it.
Yes. And there's got to be support crew, you know?
Sure.
There's got to be just someone even picking up the doo-doos.
You know, if you're going to swim the English Channel, you don't go out there without a boat and helpers.
Right.
You know, you're going to need a sandwich
That's
along the way.
going to take some planning.
You need the support crew.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it's like. Loons on the Lake Comedy Festival, June 4th to the 7th. This is the 3rd annual, and this is big comedy festival.
It's a big deal.
And you were a part of it last year. And in fact, the word champion comes to mind when I think of you and Loons on the Lake. Explain how that all happens.
I did win. It's 40 comics from all over the world that are competing for $10,000, and they have 8 comics in each preliminary round, and then the winners go on to a finals.
Right.
And then the finals are done. Although they changed, I won at the best time because I won $10,000, and this year the winner gets 5, and then second place gets 3, and then so the money is split up amongst the finalists.
Really?
Yes, which is nice because if you make the finals, it's nice to go home with a little something.
Yeah, sure.
But I won at the right time.
But you won 10 grand when there was just 10 grand going one direction.
Yes, sir.
Atta girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm coming back to do a show with the great Jason Stewart, and it's going to be, June 4th. Mm-hmm. So come on out for that. I mean, the whole festival is amazing. They have really great industry. It's at Crooners. A lot of people show up. All the shows are packed, and it's just a ton of fun. And you'll see a ton of great comedians you never heard of from all over.
LoonsOnTheLake.com is the place to go for more information about this. So where is Crooners? Let's give a look, if anyone's wondering. What town are we talking about? How do you get
Crooners
there?
is like Fridley, I think.
So not too far.
Yeah. I want to say like 694 in Central area.
Yeah, Central. It's listed as Minneapolis, but that I think would be Fridley.
It's right on the border, I bet.
Yeah, right around 694, right?
Mary T, who runs it, the nicest lady in the whole wide world, and they have amazing food. Amazing food.
Does she have a Guinness record for being the nicest person in the world?
I believe she does. Wow. It's on the wall. Mm-hmm.
Some names that everybody's familiar with. Mary Mack is one of the headliners this year.
Yeah.
As is Emo Phillips. Haven't seen Emo for a minute.
Haven't seen him for 2 decades, I bet. Yeah.
Jamie Kennedy?
Wow. Oh, yeah. And by the way, Jimmy Walker, who...
Dynamite!
It's an amazing thing. Every about once a year, he comes around,
yeah,
hits my radar, and then I'm reminded that, he never went away. He didn't go on. He wasn't on TV, but behind the scenes, grinding away, managing other comedians, and maintaining his own career. What a fascinating run he's had since Good Times.
Yeah.
For a kid that hit it really young with that show, man, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So loonsonTheLake.com.
Do you think he hates it when people are like, say dynamite, do it, do it again?
I doubt it. I doubt it. I mean, there probably was a period of time.
Okay.
When he was like, okay, enough already. But at some point, you just gotta. I mean, does Gary Berghoff hate people asking him about Ottumwa, Iowa, from MASH, a show no one here's ever seen but me?
I've seen MASH.
Well, I knew you had. These guys have.
I'm a woman of a certain age.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen
I think Dynamite came back. One day he finally looked around. Yeah, hey,
embraced it.
Well, again, as I always say, there are worse things people could come up to you to talk about.
True.
Than
100%.
Your giant TV hit sitcom.
So when I was working at the radio station in Fresno, he would come in, Jimmy Walker would come in and do his radio show from there from time to time, or guest host or that sort of thing. And the program director, the boss of the radio station, would run around to every single person before JJ Walker showed up and say, do not say Dynamite to him. I don't even know if it was a thing that he brought up.
Don't look him in the eye.
Yeah, some dude named Skip wanted to look cool in front of Jimmy Walker.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. Not realizing that you don't look cool doing it.
At Loons on the Lake, but you said something earlier, a bunch of great comics that you've not heard of. You're going to go see people you've never seen. And you've been doing this how long?
25 years.
25 years. Is there a sense that right now is it a boom season? Is it a low season? Is there great young talent, less than before? How will we look back at right now?
There's a ton of talent right now. Okay. I mean, it is saturated. It is.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I think back in the day there was only a handful of comics, a handful of good comics, and it's just more and more and more popular, especially with social media and stuff like that. And now, if you want to be a good comic, you have to have a social media presence. You can't just do comedy anymore.
Right.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of people like that are on the rise, which is fun because they can all find their audience. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's someone for everyone, and everyone has a different taste, and you can find your niche.
There was a cast member added to Saturday Night Live this year for the 50th anniversary, Jane, what's her name, Wickline, and I saw her on there, and I was like, that's not the usual cast member. And it was basically, she was just a content creator online. And even a guy like Lorne Michaels is like, you got to keep it relevant. You got to bring new people on who are appealing to a different branch, a different niche of the comedy world. Not a person who's, I don't think, she didn't have an improv character. A background. She didn't do stand-up. But they just bring that in.
It's funny.
But like anything, it just evolves. And this is where comedy is now.
Yep.
That's good. But I love that there's just as much young talent out there as there ever
There's
has been.
tons of it. And, so much different variety. So something for everyone, you know?
It kind of feels a little bit like comedy with being in a band right now, where with social media, etc., in ways it's easier than ever to be in a band, but it's also harder than ever to be in a band. You know what I mean? Because it's so saturated.
You can't get any traction.
You kind of can make your own, but also getting attention is harder than ever, right?
So for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't know how young bands do anything now, just because.
I know.
It's a different game.
The doors are open, but where do they lead? You know, in the old days, it was real easy. You got a record deal or you didn't.
Right.
And if you did, you were like, oh, my God, I got a chance here.
Now it's like, okay, cool. You've got 75,000 views of a video on YouTube, but now what? You know what I mean? Like, so, and that's what I mean. It's easier in ways.
Yeah.
You've got the technology to make music, make content.
Yeah.
But then cutting through and actually.
But I mean, also, I don't want to be a content creator. I want to be a comedian.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard to. You got to be a movie producer. You got to film all this. You got to have a good mic. You got to edit it. There's a lot more work to being a comic than actually doing comedy.
25 years of this now. So what were you doing 26 years ago?
26 years ago?
I mean, other than thinking about, I wonder if, I want to do this, but were you the person who it was just a matter of time before you got up there with a mic and tried to do it? Or was it one of these things where you just one day woke up and went, I think I'm going to do that? I mean, was it like going back to childhood? Were you watching comedy?
I did watch a lot of comedy, and I loved, like Louis Anderson, and I loved early, like, Ellen clips and Janine Garofalo and all those 80s comics I grew up watching. And then I just always thought, I could never, ever, ever do that. It seemed so hard to me. And then my sister started working at a comedy club as a waitress, and so I'd go down and hang out, and then I'd watch the comics, and in my head I was like, I could do that. Yeah. But then I tried it at open mic, and it was, rough. I can't do that. Yeah. No.
Well, I had the same experience as I spent my whole life just obsessed with music, and I knew I was a drummer. Yeah. I'd never played, but I knew I was. I could do that. I should do that. I'm going to do that. But you turn on the TV, and it's like, well, that's Earth, Wind, and Fire. How do I get from there to here to there?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, my God, look at those costumes and Flames and Kiss, and then not to mention the Beatles or whoever. You just think there's no way to do that. And then I went to a club, and I saw a really crappy local band play, and I went, oh, wait a minute. This is where everybody starts.
Everyone starts somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was really inspirational, and of course, the first time I played in a club, it was god-awful.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you got to do it.
But isn't it fun to know who you are at your core? Like, I'm such a comedian, and I have been, and I say as soon as I stop loving it, I'll quit. And every year I love it more than the year before.
That's awesome.
And it blows my mind every time. I never thought I'd be in this business this long.
That'd be what they call winning.
Maggie. Yay!
Congrats, Maggie. Winning.
Thank you.
Yeah. More Maggie.
Good. Come to my special June 12th.
That's what I was going to say. Where do we get more Maggie?
I'm filming a special at Open Book. It's in Minneapolis on Washington, kind of near the Viking Stadium. And then it's June 12th, which is a Thursday. And it's a small venue, so it's only like 90 people. And I think we're already half sold out.
Okay.
But you can get a ticket at extrememaggie.com. There's a link to the tickets there. But it is going to be super fun. I'm going to have a couple of special guests up front, but then I'm going to be doing over an hour of material.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you on do you have in the back of your mind, is there a clock, like every year you need a new hour, every year and a half you need a new 30?
Takes me 3 years. That's how it's been so far. Like I'll do an album of about an hour and then another 3 years I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And then another 3 years. And I don't like plan it out like that or try it. That's just how my process has kind of evolved. But,
Do you mean though, will you recycle certain bits within the hour, or do you completely refresh the whole hour?
New hour. New hour.
Right,
takes me about 3 years to do a whole new hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wow.
Man.
It's fun though.
I can't even imagine. Like I've been planning to do open mic somewhere sometime.
Really?
For the last 10 years. Probably.
I'll help you. I'll hold your hand.
And I five minutes. I know how long 5 minutes is, and it
No, most of them are 3 minutes.
Oh, great.
Right, you're 3 minutes. Okay. It's 3 minutes of your whole entire life.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
It goes like that.
Such a boring life.
Until you get up there.
I was going to say it goes like that. What are you kidding?
Yeah.
I was shanghaied into a bit with a guy once at a club in Zany's in Nashville, a comedy club. Ari Shafir has the first time I ever bit. So it's like 8 comics get up and you say, the first time I ever, and then tell a story.
Okay.
And it was during a comedy festival, and as at the time radio guy in town, I was a part of it. And anyway, he said, I want you to do this. I said, sure, whatever. It was midnight. I knew everybody would be hammered by the time I got up there, so it'd be fine. And at the time, I look back now, and it was like Bert Kreischer and Bargatze were on. I mean, it was a crazy night of people who weren't big yet.
Yeah.
But looking now, I'm like, what was I doing there? And so I got up, and so he said, do you have a story? I said, yeah, I'm going to do the first time I ever did mushrooms. He goes, great. Perfect. And I go out to the front to watch the person who's going right before me, and the guy goes, I'm going to tell you about the first time I did mushrooms.
No!
And Ari looked at me and goes, you got about 5 minutes to come up with a new bit. And I was like, and so I went up and I told a story, and it was fine. By which I mean I didn't die, and people laughed, but because they were drunk and already knew who I was, so they were being nice. But I walked off that stage and I was like, never. I'll sit here on this mic all day long. I will play music all day long. Standing with just a microphone and my own weird, awkward. Suddenly, my body language was like, "What is happening?" It was phenomenally terrifying.
Oh, I love it.
And
I love it so much.
And I've never looked at a comedian the same way since.
Oh, I'm so addicted to it. More.
The hardest form of entertainment on the planet. Period. The end. You can't tell me otherwise.
Stand up?
Yeah.
God, I love it.
Yeah, that's because you're. Yeah. Yes, but
do you want me to start doing bits right now? I will.
I'm speaking from a perspective of respect. It's the hardest form of entertainment there is. Everything else, you have help.
It's not easy. Things. It takes a long time, especially to realize like what you think is funny doesn't work, and how you have to craft it and change it to make it funny to other people. And there's a process to that, and it takes time to figure that part out.
I think that's part of it. What makes it so terrifying is that you have to bomb. Probably,
you have to try. It's trial and error. 100%.
Sure. Maggie Faris, extrememaggie.com for all the information on her upcoming shows. loonsonthelake.com if you want to check that festival out. It is always our pleasure. You are always welcome here.
Thank you so much for having me. Gorman in the morning.
I can't top that.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder on Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Thanks again to Maggie Faris for coming and hanging out for a bit. It is always lovely to spend time with Maggie. If you missed it, you can check her out on the podcast. Find the Gorman in the Morning podcast anywhere you listen, anytime you want. Sponsored by Devani's Pizza and Hot Hoagies. Right now, I'm feeling Minnesota. Paul Fletcher, what's happening?
She is just a positive breath of fresh air. Maggie is, for sure. About 80% of us watch TV on the daily, but what type of TV? Well, Google Trends got to work, and they came up with the most popular genre. It's not surprising, I don't think. Sitcoms is ranked number 1 in 10 states. Reality TV came in second, most popular in 9 states, followed by sports in 8. And the top 3 states that watch the most TV are West Virginia, Delaware, and then Louisiana.
When we're saying sitcoms, what's a modern sitcom that people watch regularly? Are we talking about like on network TV? I'm just out of the loop. I really don't pay attention.
I am too.
I'm trying to think of a modern network TV sitcom.
I know.
Besides The Simpsons.
It's not easy.
Like the last one that I had, like Modern Family. I mean, everybody loved that.
That's a good one.
Is Big Bang Theory still on TV?
It is not.
It
is not. But I mean, I'm just trying to think. Like, if I guess. Oh, you know what it is? Abbott Elementary is a big show right now.
Oh, there you go. That's a huge
good call.
One. Yeah.
Never nice seen it, but I know a lot of people that say it's great, so I take their word for it. All right.
Yeah, that's gonna be I'm gonna just take people's words for it. By the way, number 1 in Minnesota. Can you guys guess? What genre of TV?
Some kind of whatever hunting shows are. Something like that. Minnesota Bound and that kind of junk.
What is it?
We're maybe super informed and news.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so guilty of that.
That checks out.
Yeah, I probably, I might not be sitting on the couch, but I probably watch about 2.5 hours of news every day of local news.
Nothing to be guilty about.
Okay.
No?
I'm making us look nerdy.
That's okay, though.
All right.
And we're well informed. We want to know what's going on.
Information is key.
All right, let's get football-y the rest of the way. After several months of discussion and debate, NFL owners finally voted on whether to ban the tush push on Wednesday. The vote did not pass. The tush push will be allowed in the 2025 season. It needed 24 votes. It fell short by 2, with 10 teams voting against the ban. We know how the Eagles voted on this, of course. Another surprise that voted to not ban it? The Detroit Lions.
Why is that a surprise?
I don't know. I wanted to bring it up because Ryder loves her Detroit Lions. That's
all
it.
Right.
Dan Campbell said, you know what? We're not going to be for the ban. We're just going to figure out how to stop it. We will be better because that's who the Detroit Lions are.
That's what I'm talking about.
All grit.
They don't seem like a tush-push team, though. A little finesse, a little more finesse and, wide open and high scoring,
I don't think that they're going to they themselves are going to use it more.
Right.
They're just going to make it less beneficial for people like the Eagles.
Right.
I think the teams that voted against it even couldn't abide the hypocrisy of the NFL saying the NFL's case against it was, well, we're concerned about player safety. And everybody laughed and went, okay, next.
Yeah, well, and that's, you know what, that was the main reason, that was the primary motivation for this. But despite data showing no injuries last year on the tush-push play. How about that?
It was the stated main reason.
Right, of course. That's those against the ban contended it was unnecessary to ban a play outright when defenses can just incapable of just stopping it altogether.
Sure.
By the way, the Vikings did vote to ban it.
Wow, okay.
I just really liked watching Lester Holt on the news last night get all awkward when he had to say tush push. He's like, I never thought as a national network, anchor,
right.
This would be the words coming out of my mouth.
I wonder if they're calling it tush push in the actual owners' meetings, or if they come up with more tactical name.
They call it that bleepity bleep Philadelphia bleepity bleep
play.
That's what they call it.
The brotherly shove.
Right, there you go. I like that. Yep.
Of course.
U.S. News and World Report released its best places to live in the U.S. rankings. They do this annually. Got 250 cities. The top spots in all of America to live are Johns Creek, Georgia, Carmel, Indiana, Pearland, Texas. Know where any of those are?
I know where.
Only because I had to Google.
I said Carmel earlier, and I've now realized it's Carmel, and because I hear my son talking about it. He went to school in Indiana.
Okay,
it's a suburb of Indianapolis. It's where all the people with the cash live.
This will probably put those places in perspective. All right, the top 10 cities in Minnesota that landed in the top 250 are Plymouth, Maple Grove, Eden Prairie, Woodbury, all suburbs. Those towns are probably just like those. Then you got Rochester, Eagan, Mankato, Blaine, Bloomington, and Duluth. Plymouth, by the way, overall was 17th on the list in the country.
Nationwide.
Yep.
Right on.
So congrats to them. That's a wonderful, they should get a plaque. About 80% of us watch TV on the daily. But what type of TV? Well, according to Google Trends, the most popular genre is sitcoms. I don't think this is real surprising. Other than there may be a lack of sitcoms these days, but I wonder if they're including Hulu and Netflix, and although there's not a ton of sitcom on those platforms, but
I don't think of those as sitcoms just because you can watch them all. A sitcom to me is something that comes on once a week, and you got to,
Seinfeld
you got commercials.
Yeah, it's and interesting. I'm wondering if that'll change in the next 5 years. Reality TV was second most popular in 9 states, followed by sports in 8. The top 3 states to watch TV are West Virginia, Delaware, and then Louisiana. They watch more TV than any of us.
Okay, fair enough.
Because they don't have any Delaware. There's nothing happening. Hi, I'm in Delaware.
Well, I was just you beat me to it, Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm in Delaware. The number 1 most watched genre in Minnesota, news.
I like it.
We were one of 4 states that was their top. We're informed.
I'm a fan. I am a fan of an informed citizenry. That's just me.
It's just the local news is basically just watching the weather on a loop.
Well, sure.
Yeah, pretty much. Weather, and then this story and that story, and then back to weather.
I didn't say what kind of information. I just said information.
Yeah. A news anchor, speaking of local news, a news anchor in Schenectady, New York, named Olivia Jaquith, went into labor just before her morning newscast yesterday and still anchored the show. Seriously, Olivia Badass is really what her name is. Her water broke at 4:15 a.m. She was still on the air about 90 minutes later. Here's a clip of her, Olivia, and her co-host Julia talking about it.
We do have some breaking news this morning. Literally. Yes. Olivia's water has broke.
That's
and
right.
she is anchoring the news now in active labor.
Early labor.
She's still here. She's been doing the entire show. This is her decision to do this.
I'd rather be at work than at the hospital.
After we're done with this show, you should probably go.
Oh, thank you guys.
Oh, yay, Olivia.
I'll do my best.
High five,
which
girl.
means
Whole
maybe
show. Look at that.
see me tomorrow?
3 hours of news.
That's right.
In contractions. I think that's a first for CBS 6.
All right. Well, hopefully I don't see you tomorrow, but make sure you join Julia.
All I know about being in labor is watching my wife in labor was exhausting for me.
Just watching.
So I can't imagine what it was like for her, and I guarantee you no dude on earth could possibly go through that and think about staying at work.
1,000%. If I get a little bit of the stomach flu, I'm a baby, let alone go through labor. And I love how she downplays it. Early labor.
Yeah.
She says active labor. She's like, no, early labor. It's fine. Yeah, whatever. Jim Irsay, owner and CEO of the Indianapolis Colts, died peacefully in his sleep at the age of 65. The team announced this yesterday. Colts COO Pete Ward said, quote, Jim's dedication and passion for the Colts, in addition to his generosity, commitment to the community, and more importantly, his love for his family, were unsurpassed. Irsay took over the team in 97 after the death of his father, Robert Irsay, who purchased the franchise in 1972. Under his leadership, Colts experienced significant success, including 14 winning seasons, 10 division titles, 18 playoff appearances, and a Super Bowl victory in 2007.
Two things everyone will talk about with Jim Irsay. First is addiction. He struggled mightily with addiction throughout his entire life. The second thing, and I hope people spend more time with this, a heart of gold. I knew Jim Irsay a little bit. Spent some time with him on a number of occasions. I have two cousins who both worked for him for years with the Colts. One of them is still with the Colts organization right now. Both of them, their lives were changed when they met Jim Irsay for the better. He has impacted countless thousands, literally, of people and families' lives for the better. He was a man who was always very aware of his own shortcomings, as he would have called them. Look, I don't know if there's a God, I don't know if there's a devil, but I know there is true evil on planet Earth, and it is addiction. Mm-hmm. That is a curse that I walk a daily path of, thank God that's not me, because I've seen enough of it to know. Jim Irsay had an absolutely glorious heart of gold and just wanted to give and help and be a steward, not just for his team, but for humanity. And as that sounds crazy, that's literally where he was coming from. And he was very open about his troubles. But like I say, at the end of the day, did more for people behind the scenes that you'll never hear about, that I only know because of I have close relationships with people that are very close to him. In my personal experience, couldn't have been a nicer guy. Generous and welcoming. You'd almost say to a fault. Like, I couldn't believe this guy could be this cool. Yeah. And for the record, he also is a collector. He's one of those billionaire collectors of guitars. When people go, I hate that all the billionaires buy all the cool guitars. He has a collection. You can go. There's a website, JimIrsayCollections.com. Okay. You want to get your mind blown? Not just the guitars. There's a copy of the Declaration of Independence. There's Muhammad Ali's championship belt. There's a pocket knife Abe Lincoln carried around with him. Wow. It's an American collection. Pockets. And this is what makes it all so cool. He took it on tour all the time. He would travel with it so people could see it. He has all the Beatles instruments from the Ed Sullivan Show.
Oh, hell yeah.
It goes on and on and on and on. And he collected these things at great personal cost. But then his whole point was, I want it to be a living, breathing documentation, a collection that people can experience.
A traveling museum.
Yeah, and he put together a band. He fronted his own band, but he had all just ringers: Steven Stills, Mike Mills from REM, Kenny Aronoff on drums, Ann Wilson from Heart. I mean, just the kind of stuff you would hope you would remember to do if you had a bunch of billions of dollars. Yes. I'm just gonna hang out with all my favorite musicians. I'll sing a few, I'll watch them play, and I'll bring this collection around the world. Absolutely unlike any other owner in NFL history, Jim. Rest easy, brother.
Wow. Man. That's well summed up, man. That's
a hell of a life.
Hits heavy. And, the stigma has changed in the last few years, I think, or last, 5 to 10 years maybe. But I think a while back, especially like in the 90s, we looked at drug addicts as just junkies that were, slackers that were, here's a guy who's got as much money as anybody could ever need, incredibly successful, and by all accounts, an incredibly good human. If he doesn't prove that this is a disease and not just some problem that junkies and slackers have, I don't know what does. So it's,
he started a mental health initiative called Kicking the Stigma, which is, very, like I said, very much on the table and open, and just it's a really fascinating life. In the league his whole life. His dad owned the Colts. He took over that team as the general manager when he was 24. And I asked him about it. He said it was the day he graduated from college. I said, wait, is this true? You were the GM at 23? He goes, well, I was actually 24. My college graduation party, my dad's big announcement was, hey, congratulations, you're my new GM. Oh, and I said, and what did you do? And he said, I left the room and threw up.
Yeah.
Do you think?
And then he called the commissioner of the NFL and said, my dad just named me the GM. I don't know what to do. And the commissioner of Pete Rozelle back then was like, it's okay, buddy. We're not going to let you fail. We'll take care. He's like old. I mean, he's a lifer. The NFL was a family he grew up with and became a part of. He took over as sole owner of the team at 37 when his dad passed. And now his 3 daughters are taking over the Indianapolis Colts. 3 girls. They are co-owners. And Carly, the oldest, is now the acting like GM of the not the GM, but the president of the team. She'll be calling the shots.
I'm wondering if do you know? Is that when the drugs started? Maybe at 24, like is a way to cope with or escape?
Oh yeah, well, no, his dad was legendarily also. His dad was an alcoholic. He grew up in that. Just he always said, I felt like I had it easy because I wasn't drinking as much as my dad. Which children of addicts
and perspective. Yeah.
So, but a fascinating life, and like I say, I was sad for my friends. I didn't know them enough to feel personally this is not getting me, but I do know a handful of people who right now it's a really rough day because the guy left a very personal mark on everybody he dealt with. So rest easy, Jim.
And peace with all those that are surviving, him.
Let's hope so. As far as sports go, the main thing right now in town, Timberwolves tonight, Game 2. They will be playing the Thunder. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the Thunder named MVP of the league. I imagine he's not going to want to come out and play a flat game now that he's got the hardware. 7:30 tip-off. T-Wolves really need to get it together. Victoria, Minnesota. We're talking about you right now.
Hell yeah, Victoria.
Come on, Victoria. You even got a hell yeah from Ryder.
Yeah. The lakes. I said this last time we talked about Victoria. The lakes down there are elite. Phenomenal. Next level.
I was just talking about making a visit to Floyd's with one of our coworkers.
Get on it.
Nice.
Get after it.
Very nice. All right. Fair enough.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning, Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Fleetwood Mac the Chain right there. You got to love a band that was named after the rhythm section. And then they're the only guys that were there the whole time. They had like 55 different members over the years. And the whole time it was like, well, Mick and Joan are still here, so we'll just keep calling it Fleetwood Mac, won't we? I mean, that's good stuff, man.
I think you're a little biased there.
Yeah, I think more bands should. I think more bands should be all about the rhythm section. You get if the solid rhythm section's there, the rest is easy. I'm just saying, name a great band without a great rhythm section. Doesn't exist.
Yeah, you need
okay, that's fair.
A home needs a good foundation. All right, windows and dressing is another thing.
That's exactly right, brother. And move them in and out. They did start with Peter Green, the greatest of his generation. Sure. And then they went through that unfortunate phase with a bunch of those other guys. Jeremy Spencer joined a cult on the middle of a tour, never came back.
Yikes! That'll happen.
Bob Welch, all these people, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Let's get those guys from California." Yeah, it's good thinking. Let's get my wife in; she can write songs too.
Sure.
Go figure.
How many unnamed bands are you in right now?
I think 11.
Oh.
Yeah, the list keeps growing.
Will any of them play a gig anytime soon?
No. Come on, man. All the fun's in the planning. I was in my first band existed for years without ever playing a gig. Alfred and the Stately Wayne Manors.
Why don't you use that name?
I could. You know what? Yeah. What are they going to? What's my brother going to do? Sue me for taking his band name from college?
You can be Bruce.
Alfred and the Stately Wayne Manors, and the gig they would put flyers up saying that going to play, and then they'd put a flyer up, cancellation, sickness, sorry. It was a piece of performance art back in the day when college was still fun.
Oh yeah,
because we didn't have smartphones. Go figure. Then we blew it by actually playing a gig. The National Park Service, going through some rough times. The budget cuts are really, really, really hurting the National Park Service these days. There's one park at least. At least one.
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
The Petrified Forest Park out there way out west. Oh, they're not going to take it lying down. In fact, they are up. They're going to stay up, and they want to make sure you stay up. Arizona's Petrified Forest National Park. Well, they've taken an approach that I'm a big fan of. They're like,
Do you suffer from chronic lack of wood? Are you plagued by the unbearable burden of having seen logs that are way too soft? Well, suffer no more. Here at Petrified Forest National Park, we specialize in rock-hard ancient wood that's been stiff for over 200 million years. That's right. We'll take that flimsy, flaccid feeling and turn it into a rock-solid experience that's guaranteed to petrify your senses. Visit Petrified Forest, where our wood is always hard and never lacking. And remember, if your life's a little soft, we'll get you rock hard.
Boom! Mic drop.
Just going for it.
Yeah.
I'm just pulling no punches right there.
I'm kind of bummed that you can't camp in Petrified Forest National Park, because I would love to put up my tent pole.
Wow. I see what you're doing there.
Good place to pitch a tent.
Yeah, very good.
Petrified wood forest.
I mean, maybe have some twig and berries on hand.
I don't know if I've ever had my senses petrified.
No?
No.
I got to have a talk with Mr. Ryder.
I'm very proud of them for dealing with it in a super creative way. So,
Absolutely.
yes, I wish our parks around here would take a page from them, because I was looking yesterday and I think we have someplace that's just called Scenic Park.
Okay.
And I think it was Interstate Park. And I'm like, come on, you guys.
I was there and I was noticing the scenery, and I thought we should call this Scenic Park. So that's what we did. Yeah, not quite as cool as Petrified Forest National Park or Nature's Viagra, if you will. Whatever you want to call it. That does the job.
Think of the Morning Glory.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, Morningwood's it's a natural, wonderful state. Can I tell you, it is. Here's today's last word. William Faulkner, author of note in Requiem for None, a very famous line, "The past is never dead, it's not even past." All right?
Oh, man, is this like a multiverse thing? What's happening here?
So to put to explain my point, France, the country of France, executed people using a little something called the guillotine.
Yeah.
Right, the head chop. Yeah. The last time they used it, September of 1977. Star Wars was in theaters, and France was still executing people with the guillotine.
Are you kidding me?
The past isn't even past. There you have it. That's something to chew on for a minute. Hey, tomorrow on Gorman in the Morning at 6 a.m., we are hitting the ground running full steam with an announcement. But it's only an announcement for people who like fun.
Yeah.
So if you don't like fun,
I like fun.
Join us at 6:03 if you're not a fan of fun.
That's right. If you're a fan of fun, 6 o'clock.
Hey, if I say I don't like fun, can I come in at like 6:30?
No. Okay. No. You're here. Okay. You're here. Tomorrow's also an AMA and Ask Me Anything Friday.
Cool.
Tim Brockhouse is going to be in from Elko Speedway. Legend car champion. Come on,
really?
Tim Brockhouse. That's going to be something.
That'll be fun.
So tomorrow's already a loaded show. Paul Fletcher, what's coming up next?
Music, of course. Going to get the best rock and roll on the planet. And then, of course, garbage tickets at 12:30 again. And I got 4 packs of passes for Mission Impossible at 1:30 again as well. Yeah.
Wow, man.
Loaded. They're just loading me up.
Giveaway. Right on. Well, tomorrow morning, as I said, 6 a.m. if you like fun, Minnesota's 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the Morning is also Gorman on the go. Get the 92 KQRS app and stream live or catch the Gorman in the Morning podcast anytime. 92 KQRS.